Hello, beautiful one. If you want to understand China, then understand it by just one sentence. It comes from the great sayings of the China Confucius. And you can understand that this is somewhat kind of soul or the spirit of the country, in which it is said that let us take care of this world, and then when we have finished with this world, we will take care of the other world. And this is how Chinese people were able to discard all religious ideas, theories upon them. And they focus mostly on the practical aspect. You see, the Chinese people are so good in manufacturing because it is being said that too much attention to things spiritual disturb our practical relation in this world. In China, they feel this way. But now I will take you to another dimension of understanding that will lead you not just to United States but entire Western civilization, where one spiritual question comes. Why I am not just saying that this Chinese culture and this scientific understanding, but why I have taken the name of United States, because there people say either they believe in God or not, but in their constitution it is they in God we trust. This is a very great word in United States being used. So in God we trust. What does it mean, and how can this small sentence can influence entire society of the Western world, even if they don't believe in the gods most of the time? Actually, this leads us to another question that is opposite of what Chinese people are saying. It says that if we invest some of our mind to this, too much of our mind to this practical world, then is it not going to disturb our understanding of the world that is beyond our spiritual world too? So a conflict starts in the man's thinking, and human being is human so long as humans or we are struggling to rise above the nature. This idea to rise above the nature is is scientific, is the scientific idea. Although if you go to China, you will find that everything is scientific, but it is more about engineering. It is more about the practical science that they are focused on. But this Western culture, it has evolved. The science has evolved here to to win the nature. You remember how the scientific revolution started? People used to weave by the manpower, but they used the power of the flowing waves to use the weaving machine. And this is how the scientific revolution started. And everywhere you see the fiction writer, they want to imagine that how can they travel the time, because time is nature and they want to win the time, they want to win the nature. And but now I want to take you to the Christ, to the Spirit, because nature is both internal and external. Not only does it comprise the laws that govern the particles of matter outside, even if you call it quantum matter or whatever, but this nature is inside our bodies too. This nature is inside our consciousness too. But also, more subtle nature is within than what we can imagine even in quantum mechanics. Because the nature within is, in fact, the motive power that is governing this external or so-called practical power of the world. And here comes the spirituality. That is the third level of the civilization. First is this practical level that you see in the China. That is also in Western culture. But Western culture, they want to win nature too. They want to go ahead of nature too. So first is engineering, then is this scientific, overcome the barrier of the that they want to travel higher than the speed of the sound. They have already done it, to travel like the light to reach to other galaxies, these kind of things. Or the way we are talking, we are recording, and you are listening to me, these all are beyond the limited understanding of our nature, the so-called practical. They are redefining what is the meaning of practical. So a question comes from the Christ or from this idea of God. It is this that is it not grand and good? Okay, um, to think beyond, like it is grand and good to know the laws that governs the stars and the planets, but think it over. Is it not infinitely grander and better to understand the laws that govern our human passions, that governs our feelings, that governs even our will of entire humanity, and this conquering or winning of the inner human, understanding the secret of the subtle workings that are within the human consciousness or entire consciousness, collective consciousness of the universe, and knowing its wonderful secrets belong entirely to the idea of the spirit. So first you see that there is a human level of working, development that is engineering kind of focusing only on practical. Second is scientific, that is the Western culture that always want to surpass the limits of the nature. But the third one of the evolution that is about to come, it is of the spirit in which we redefine the limits of inner nature too. And this is only happening through the spirit. And in the life of the Christ, you will find that everywhere he is he is redefining this meaning of love. Love your neighbor, love your enemy. And entire Sermon on the Mount, if you go through, you will find that what this person is doing, how he's defining the love again and again. He was being called the prophet of thieves and prostitutes, and people who believed in religion were the one who wanted him to be crucified, because this person wanted to redefine the inner working of understanding, or the nature of inner working of human, to a rebirth of us into the spirit. That when Nicodemus come to the Christ says that you are a great teacher of Israel, and you don't know that unless we are reborn into the spirit, then this kind of idea, can you see that this kind of idea, this is spirit, that you rise above the nature. There is no miracle. It is the rising, it is the science of inner realm too. So these are the process. First is this engineering kind of process, utterly materialistic, so-called practical. Another is scientific, in which we evolve. This is the Western culture, is entire Western world, and I took the name of USA because there is the term that I like. In God we trust. And then the third is that in which God that leads you. It is the Spirit. That is your own spirit. Okay, so thank you for being here. Your presence is very precious for me. I always pray for you, and I deeply thank you for your kind presence. May God bless you. Thank you so much.